Hey guys, it's me Zara, and I'll bring you Really and Truly. It's by Emily Rivard and Anna Claire Delzo. And at the back it says, before Grandpa got sick, his stories could always cheer up Charlie. But now Grandpa really smiles and doesn't remember how to tell any of those old stories. Can Charlie make his grandpa smile again, even if only for a little while? So let's find out. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. I'm curious to get an idea. Charlie's grandpa used to dream up stories for him, but lately he doesn't have any to share. A disease has stolen Grandpa's memories, his words, and even his smile. Charlie wants so much to see his grandpa laugh again, to talk with him and share new imaginary adventures. Can Grandpa's old stories reconnect him with his grandson? Charlie thinks so. If he can, just tell them as well as his grandpa used to. Started. Really and truly. When I was little, my grandpa used to tell me lots of stories. I loved all the adventures he dreamed up for me. So all these he dreamed up for him, like this big dragon, and that little astronaut, and that cowboy, and that elf, and the knight, and the witch, and the cat, and another elf, and also genie. Some days he'd say, Charlie, did I ever tell you about the pirate who lives in my attic? So there's that pirate, and he's wearing that pirate hat, and all his other pirates crew. Sometimes when I'm reading my newspaper, I can hear his wooden leg bumping up against an old treasure chest. Knock, knock, knock. Really and truly, Charlie. So he's playing a game of XOXO, and he's doing something with his newspaper. And there's still a cookie. The next day he'd say, Charlie, remember the pirate I was telling you about? Well, he has a friend, an old witch. She lives in my shed back there in the yard. So there's a cat, and he's smelling that frog, and the frog's like, what are you doing? Don't smell me. And there's the other frog. If you look carefully, you can see her toad hopping around the garden, and her bat hanging from the clothesline. Really and truly, Charlie. So you can try to find the bat hanging from the clothesline if you can. So I'll give you a little bit of a picture. Let's see. And then there's the little pirate in the window at the top. When I'd ask Grandpa about the hole in the living room floor, he'd say, oh, that's because there's a gnome who lives in my basement. On rainy days, when water comes in the window, the little guy has to climb up a ladder so his feet doesn't get wet. Rainy day after rainy day, he eventually made that hole in the floor to escape from the basement. Really and truly, Charlie. So there's a picture of the gnome, and he's climbing up the ladder, and there's water everywhere. And there's another gnome in that little bowl. And there's a little hole, so that's how we made it. But if you want to know what that actually is, that's where your heat comes from in wintertime. Now that I'm older, Grandpa doesn't tell stories anymore. He doesn't remember the pirate or the witch or the gnome. An awful disease has eaten up his memory and his words. It has even swallowed up his smile. So there's a disease, and it went on Grandpa. This week, just like every week, I'm visiting Grandpa with my mom and dad. Then when we walk into his room, he doesn't even turn around. The cars driving by outside are more interesting than we are. If I don't answer my mom when she talks to me, I get in trouble right away. But she does. She just lets Grandpa look out the window. I can tell it makes her sad. So there's a picture of Grandpa sitting on the chair, and he's looking outside. And there's a little cup of coffee and a little cat picture. And there's Charlie. Suddenly, a story that Grandpa used to tell me pops into my head. I turn to him and say, "It is I, Kimoto Kata. I am a great warrior, the best ninja in all of Japan. I have a secret weapon. I freeze my enemies by making them drink a special tea. Do you know what the secret ingredient is?" So there's Ikimoto Kata, and there's his specialty, and he's holding a stick. Which ninja holds a stick for walking? Anyways, he's a Ikimoto Kata, and he's holding a cup with his special ingredient tea. Grandpa doesn't answer. I tug gently on his ear and say, "It is the right ear of a sore puss, really and truly." Right away, Grandpa turns and looks at us. I think he always almost believes me. Thanks to my story, he isn't looking at the cars outside anymore. So these are all the ninja movements, and there's a little bad disease. The next week, we go back and say, "Grandpa." A nice lady puts down a tray of food in front of him. Grandpa pokes a meatball with his fork and mashes up his potatoes. He plays with his food without even eating a single bite. When I was little, Grandpa always used to tell me a special story when I refused to eat. It just might work. So I say, "I am Manza, the most famous hunter in all of Africa. I hunt only the finest, most tender, most delicious gazelles in the whole world. And I caught this one just for you. Real and truly, I tracked through the bush and found thousands of lions, and you don't even want to try to take a bite." Those are all the lions, and they have crosses on their eyes because they're all lying down. At first, Grandpa looks surprised. He raises an eyebrow, then he pokes his fork into a meatball and pops it into his mouth. Little by little, he eats everything on his plate. So there's his dessert, and the meatballs and mashed potatoes and peas and a carrot. During the whole next week, I can't stop thinking about Grandpa. I try to come up with the best story, the one that will make him smile again. So there's a snake and a pirate and a cowboy and a witch and a nice little princess and an elf and the frog and a mustache guy. On visiting day, I walk right up close to Grandpa and say, "It is me, the great Abini, the best magician in the world. I have come a long way to perform a most amazing magic trick just for you. I'm going to make something appear out of thin air right before your eyes. Something extraordinary. Really and truly, I wave my hands while I say the magic words. Abracadabra, super spaghetti, abracadabra, rainbow, confetti. The great Albini is here to say, come on, smile, come on and stay." I look behind Grandpa's ear, but I don't find what I'm looking for. I check in Mom's purse, still nothing. I search my pocket. Got it! I show Grandpa the happy face on the palm of my hand, and I say, "Here it is. I found your smile. Now you can have it back." I put my hand on Grandpa's scratchy cheek. Suddenly his face fills with happiness. His awful disease didn't eat up his smile. It was just hidden away deep down in the bottom of his heart. A few days later, I run into Grandpa's room before Mom or Dad. I can't wait to make him smile. Grandpa slowly opens his mouth and says, "Who are you?" Mom answers, "It's Charlie, your grandson." He frowns down at me with his enormous eyebrows. "I don't know anyone called Charlie," he says. I'm happy that Grandpa is finally talking, but he doesn't recognize me, and that makes me sad. Then I get an idea. That's because my real name is Claudio Esprenzo, the magician elf. I disguised myself so you wouldn't recognize me. Grandpa bursts out laughing. For a moment, his awful disease seems to have hidden itself away in the pirate treasure chest or the witch's cauldron or under the gnome's pointy hat. So there it is, locked away. At my next visit, maybe Grandpa will pout. Maybe he won't want to eat or talk. Maybe he won't even know who I am again. But from now on, I have Grandpa's magical power. The power to find the right story to make him smile. Really and truly, the end. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!